Hello, everyone. Welcome back to I'll Read What She's Reading. I'm Reggie.
I'm Michaela. And I'm Kennedy.
And today we are going to be reading you guys 5-star reviews of books that we did not like. So, should be interesting conversations. But before we dive in, we want to update you guys on what we're currently reading because I feel like it's been a second. Don't you guys feel like it has?
Yeah.
I mean, I have been really bad at scrolling on Goodreads, so I didn't even know that like you had read Assistant to the Villain.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, I listened to it, and, I've been driving the past few days.
So you've been doing
just
some
a few,
driving.
yeah. So, I listened to 3.5 books in 3 days.
Nice.
And I think The Assistant to the Villain was one of them. Anyways, yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah. Well, you start us off with what?
She's got a lot of books.
She's got a list.
I got a list, you guys. Yeah, Assistant to the Villain. It was honestly not what I expected.
In a good way or a bad way?
In both. It was really good. I wish it was funnier to me. Some of the things were funny, but some of them I was just like, that's kind of. It's a fantasy book.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it was fantasy. I thought it was like almost modern. Like I don't know why I couldn't get out of my head. Despicable Me. I just couldn't get it out of my head. But it was kind of fun because the way they talked, it felt modern.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Someone made a review about, like a movie, almost like Ella Enchanted, how, what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It like is almost a little modern, but it's set, I don't know. Anyways, it was good. Let me continue on my journey with reading. It's been great. I also listened to Never Lie by Frida McFadden.
That one is wild.
I haven't read that one.
It's wild.
It's weird. And then I also listened to The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros.
I think I saw your review for this one.
It was really good. It was really good. Really good.
Did you cry?
Yeah. There are a few things that I cried at. And then I listened to the X-Hex and the Kiss Curse, which is X-Hex 2. They were cute. Especially during October, like it's a fun little read. They weren't anything amazing, but the vibes were there. And then the last one today is Happily Ever After Playlist. It's the Friend Zone number 2.
You loved it.
I loved it. I would almost say it was better
I agree.
than the first one.
I agree.
And then also the author's note. Did you keep listening to the author's note?
No.
So like it's kind of based on a true story, based on her friend.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So So I was like, I literally could not stop crying. I was like an hour. I could not. I just couldn't stop. And I dropped my phone in between the crack of my car. And so it was just like silence after I finished it. And I was just like,
I know exactly why. Like,
I
cry,
couldn't. I just cried so many times. It was so good. I was just a sucker for a doll.
it was so good. Have you listened to the playlist?
No, I need to.
It's pretty good.
But I like was listening to some of like the songs before the chapters and I was like, okay, so this is the vibe of this chapter and stuff like that. So I need to listen to the playlist.
I can only now when I listen because Ocean Eyes by Billie Eilish is one of them. I can only think about him. I can't remember his name. But anyways, I only think about him.
So at each chapter, there's a song at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really
That's cool.
cool.
It's really cute.
I added it to my Libby, but I think it's like a
So
18-week
long.
But you gotta listen to the Friend Zone first.
Yeah, I have that one on there too.
Okay, good.
So.
Cried in both, but
yeah,
it's so good.
I feel like I also related a lot because it's just like, so I know it's not the same, but like it talks a lot about missing like your significant other because of like work, and I just felt like that to my core because I'm so busy right now and I haven't been able to spend like a lot of quality time with my husband, and it just makes me so sad. And so it just like hits my core. You know, I just related to a lot of things with that book, so it was just so cute.
Abby Jimenez, just I don't know what it is.
She's an immediate listen,
Love
read
her.
right now.
Same.
So
I
good.
haven't read any of her books, but I need to. So
Very good.
And then last thing, sorry, this has been a long one.
I love it.
I am currently reading Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I am loving it. I'm eating it up. I updated my Goodreads, and so I was just like being like, I was giggling almost like I was dead, and so I put like the dead emoji, and I think someone thought that I thought the writing was bad. Oh, because they're like, I just couldn't get behind the writing, and I was like, oh, I'm eating this up. I think it's so fun.
I mean, it's YA, but like it's so fun.
Oh, I feel like a little teenager giggling. 16 years old.
Reggie, you go.
okay, I haven't read as much as these guys, but my most recent reads were I listened to The Bodyguard by Catherine Senner. Michaela and Kennedy also recently listened to it. Not as recently as I have, I guess, because they've been reading a lot more than me, but it was good. Like, I was very entertained the entire time. It was just absolutely ridiculous. I just couldn't. And it had potential to have, like, not that I'm, like, need a spicy book. Like, I want lots of spice in a book, but I don't think there was, like, literally any spice in this book. And I was like, it had potential for some, like, good. I don't know. I think I would have liked it a little better if there was some in there, just because of all the tension and whatever. But it was giving The Proposal vibes, if you've seen The Proposal with.
It also kind of gave me Miss Congeniality vibes.
Yeah. Like Miss Congeniality. We love our girl, what's her bucket?
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. So yeah, I was just picturing Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds the entire time.
Is that the movie where they dance around the fire pit and they're like, to the window,
to grandma. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it was giving those vibes for some reason.
I agree.
Yeah. And then I finally finished listening to Anxious People.
Oh god.
Took me a hot sec. It wasn't available on the Libby app anymore, and then I Kennedy let me use her Audible. I don't know if I should say that.
Yeah, I don't care.
Anyways.
Kennedy's login is
I could not find my spot for the longest time, and it was making me so frustrated. And then I don't know, I finally was like, I gotta listen to this. So anyways, finished Anxious People, loved it. And then I recently finished Vow of Thieves.
Oh no.
Which you guys have talked about Dance of Thieves on the podcast before.
Yeah.
And I liked it, but it ended and I was like, oh, okay. Like I don't know why I didn't feel like as emotionally invested. I gave it like a 3.5.
Both of those are 5 stars for me.
They
love those ones.
We'll receive no criticism.
It just wasn't like, I don't know. There was just something about it that I just couldn't get behind, or it was missing.
I wonder if you would have enjoyed them better if you would have read the series that comes before it.
Yeah.
But
I was I was a little confused with the world building aspect of it. I felt a little lost, but yeah. And then I started Crescent City.
Can we get a round of applause for Reggie?
I felt like a bad friend that I was like, sorry guys, I'm starting this. I know you want to wait, but I'm starting it. But I know they'll be catching up to me. I bet they finish it before I even finish it. So
I have like 17 weddings to edit. So
yeah, I am in a busy season, but I was looking at my TBR and I was like, the thing I'm most excited to read is Crescent City, and with the amount of spoilers I've already received, I'm like, I don't want to get so many spoilers that I'm not excited to read the book anymore, and then it's not as exciting for me. So I decided I was starting it. So far I'm like 25% of the way through, I think.
Kennedy almost spoiled it for me.
I did actually. Okay, I was Marco Poloing about it, and luckily Reggie was watching it at the same time I was sending one, and I said something, and Reggie's like, yeah, you might want to go delete that because you just spoiled it for Michaela. So
I am lucky and have not received as many spoilers as these two have. I literally avoid anything with SJM like a plague. My finger swiping has never been so fast. Anything. So I feel really sad for you guys, but
I will say one of the spoilers I got happens within like the first couple chapters of Crescent City, like the first book. So the first book. So I was like, oh, I felt a little relief knowing that like it happened like early. But yeah, I did go on TikTok though, and I blocked all SJM type of hashtags.
I need to do that.
But I've still been getting them on my feed because some people don't put hashtags or like detailed captions. So I've still been getting a few, but yeah, I will even say there was one spoiler I got for Crescent City, and it was one I already knew, but then I like went to the settings and I just said I'm not interested in this video. So it was like telling TikTok like don't show me videos like this. So yeah. Crescent City.
I'm happy for you.
Powering through. So
I'm happy for you. Okay, so my current reads. I read all of the Carval series. They're so fun.
I love them.
And the men that Stephanie Garber writes, I don't know what it is about them. There's something about them. The way they talk, the swagger that they have is just incredible. And it's YA, so nothing even crazy happens, and I'm just like, these men are so attractive.
Scrumptious.
Scrumptious. The Carval series is just absolutely wild. You think one thing's gonna happen, and then she's like, what is that Timothy Chalamet? The scratch that, reverse it. And it's just, you never really know what's gonna happen. We've said this before, but I'm also I read Once Upon a Broken Heart, and now I'm on the Ballad of a Never After. You definitely need to read the Carval series. Okay, wait. It's Caraval. Caraval or Caraval. We've been saying it wrong this entire time. Someone's commenting. Yeah. Someone commented on our TikTok and was like, the way you guys say Caraval sends me. So we're sorry. Caraval. Anyways, highly recommend you read that before. Otherwise, the whole series will be spoiled for you if you read. What is it? The
Ballad of Never After?
No. That's the new one that's coming off. It's Once Upon a Broken Heart.
Yeah, Once Upon a Broken Heart. But very fun. I've been obsessed with it. I also listened to the X-Hex like Michaela. I don't really need to elaborate on that. It's just fun, spooky witch vibes. Nothing too crazy, but it's fun to read in October. And then I also listened to The Dead Romantics. It's basically about a girl that sees dead people, and it's a rom-com. So that one was really fun. Also fun October vibes. Not really spooky, but it was cute. And then you guys, I made a TikTok about this, and I had every intention of finishing Tender as the Flesh. I really did. I thought it wasn't going to bother me, and I thought I'm going to be tough and I'm going to finish this, and I couldn't. I could not. It was so disturbing. And that's really all I'm going to say. I would just recommend, well, you can go watch our TikTok. I posted about it. Just make sure you check trigger warnings. I didn't. And there were multiple times where I was like sick to my stomach, but also I cried. There was twice that I cried because the scenes were just so disturbing and I couldn't finish it. I was talking to my husband about it while I was reading it, and he looked at me and he's like, why are you reading this book? And then it was affecting my mood in real life, and I decided, I'm like, I read for fun and escapism, and this is just not that for me. So I did not finish it. So all of you guys who added it to your TBR for your fall reads because I said I was gonna read it, maybe look up the trigger warnings.
Maybe reconsider.
So
Well, just you explaining the synopsis of the book to us was making me ill.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was making me ill too.
I didn't know, like, I knew it was about cannibalism, but like I didn't know it would be like that. Like, I thought it would kind of be like that Timothy Chalamet movie.
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, they eat humans. Like, I thought it was gonna kind of be like that, but the way I'm not gonna go into detail, but like they just go into so much detail about things that it was just like, did not finish that, and I'm on to lighter, happier books now.
All right, with that said,
On that depressing
I'm
note,
so sorry. Okay, wait. I have an actually happy one. I'm currently reading an Abby Jimenez book.
oh, you are?
Yes, I'm listening to one, and it is called Part of Your World. Yeah,
Oh,
Part
I
of Your
love
World, and I'm
that.
7% of the way in, and I'm
World.
giggling.
It's so good.
I'm obsessed.
I'm just going on my Libby right now and just finding.
I love her books.
Me too. I've only listened to 2, but they're so good. I rated both of them 4 stars.
Yeah. That's the one that I was telling you
To read or listen to.
No, do you remember that Marco Polo where I was like crying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. I love it so far. I love it.
It's good. And it wasn't like a sad cry. It was just like
Oh, I'm so excited.
yeah. It's really good. She has a part 2 for that one too. It's
Oh, yeah.
yours truly. I have that one physically, so I was like, I'll read that one instead
Mhm.
of listening to it.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I'll literally read and listen to anything she writes. So.
Same. She's so good.
She's good.
Same. I trust you guys.
Reggie, I think you would actually like them. Like
Oh, I'm sure I would. I love, especially for audiobooks, I love a fun audiobook like romance audiobook.
Yeah.
So
I think also the narrators, is that what they are?
Mhm.
Do a really good job. Like they just do it like I'm not annoyed by them at all. Like they just do a good job, you know. So I think they wouldn't annoy you.
I've cried in every one of her books. So
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
All right,
Love
well,
a good
shall
cry.
we get into these reviews of books that we didn't like that people gave 5 stars?
let's do it.
Okay.
I'll start us off. How about that? Here's the thing. I rated this book 2 stars, okay? However, the main character in this book, Smash, as we learned from our Smash or Pass episode. So I feel like I can't say that I really disliked this book, but I honestly did. The only reason I finished it was because of said character. And this book is Every Summer After. No. Why did I just forget what this book is
It
called?
happens one summer.
It happened one summer. Just kidding. Not Every Summer After. It happened one summer. Basically, it was just, and this is the thing. I've only read one Tessa Bailey book. You guys have read
I haven't
a
read any.
few. Yeah, isn't Icebreaker Tessa Bailey?
Mm-mm.
It's not.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
It's
Um.
Hannah Grace.
Hannah Grace.
Oh, okay. So this was my first Tessa Bailey book, and it was an audiobook, and a few people that I followed on Goodreads rated this book so highly. So I was like, okay, I'll listen to this one. And this 5-star read, I just had to read it because it was so, the emojis, can you just like see this?
Oh
The
my gosh.
emojis. She says, so I guess I'll explain real quick why I gave it 2 stars. It just was so cheesy. It was like literally a book just about spice, pretty much. It was like this, it was so cliche too. Zeus wants in on the party.
I'm so sorry.
It was like the main character is this like airhead you're basically stereotypical Hollywood it girl,
Mm.
and then he's just this grungy fisherman guy, and it's just about what you picture this book to be is exactly what you would expect. So this 5-star review says, all this grumpy man does is grunt, and why does that should I read this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why does that make my coochie tingle? This book had my back arching, toes curling, neck cracking, bedsheet gripping, knee trembling, and ass smacking. And she put so many emojis. Number 1, it was downright hilarious. And she talked about like this certain scene. And I remember that scene. I was just like, this is so dumb. She thought it was the most hilarious thing she'd ever read, I guess. This book had me going feral. She also thought the main character was super lovable and carried the whole story. And I literally just wanted to wring her neck the whole time. And then she says, Brendan, the main guy, which I can agree with this part. She says, Brendan, on the other hand, has me looking for apartments in a small town known for fishing in the hopes that I may come across a 6-foot-something breaded, grumpy, buff dude that will fall helplessly in love with me.
Does she mean bearded?
I think she
Probably.
meant bearded. It
Probably.
says breaded.
Breaded.
Anyways, she says, I was feeling a roller coaster of emotions reading this book. I feel like I can't read this last part.
You have to.
I'll read it and then you guys can tell me. She says, I was feeling a roller coaster of emotions reading this book.
Oh no.
I might cut this part out. I don't know. I don't know when those of you who listen to this podcast, if you're listening around children. Anyways, not that the kids wouldn't understand this, but anyways, she's feeling a roller coaster of emotions reading this book. Till the room stinks, till the walls sweat, till the police are breaking down the door after the 45th noise complaint.
What?
This book was good to me. I am just like, I mean, it really is just a really spicy book, but there was really not much of a plot to it to me.
Wait, did that noise complaint happen in the book, or is she referring to herself?
She might be referring to herself.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I should include that.
I thought it was
But
funny.
I mean,
That's
all
funny.
of the emojis, I cut out a few things already from what she said, but I just felt like sharing that one because it was funny. But I love it for people if you wanted to read specifically for spice. Like, I love that for you. It's just like, to me, it's just not worth my time to read for that. But that's just me personally. So
I like a little bit of spice, you know?
oh yeah.
But I also like plot.
Yeah, the plot to me, it was just so predictable.
I'm an 80-20 girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, was that too much?
No,
That was great. I think you started out on a bang. I don't think.
I think it's just gonna go downhill. From
All
here.
right.
You're up, Michaela.
Ooh. Okay. I just cringed. Okay, maybe I should do the first one in the series first. He has a heart of ice, but for her, he'd burn down the world. And someone said, I don't know why I didn't read this book earlier. Twisted love is a brother's best friend. Grumpy
Ooh.
ex. Sunshine romance. And I just can't. Okay, pretty much she just does like a synopsis of this.
Which we've learned that people do.
This is such a beautifully written story with incredible emotional depth and terrific character development.
Is this the one that you read us or played the audiobook for us in the car that one day?
Yeah, that is. I mean, to be fair, the plot was interesting. I was more invested in the plot than. This is also the book that someone tagged us in.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, with the camera.
The photographer.
Yeah.
Mhm. I just couldn't. This, I don't know. This is also a very, very spicy, steamy book. And I just don't think that's for me. When it's pretty much like the entire plot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You're an 80-20 girl.
I mean, the man is very fine. He's a fine man. That's pretty much it. I just had to skip too many scenes. Too many. And then I'll just do the second book in the series. I made it as far as the second book in the series. I will not be continuing after this. Okay?
How many are there?
There's 4. Excerpt from the book. You and me against the world, princess.
I have a really hard time with like pet names like that.
Well, I mean, she is a princess, but
Oh, never mind.
but he does call her princess. And then he says, this is also another excerpt. Careful, Mr. Larson, or I'll think you actually like me. His mouth curled into a grin. Baby, we're way beyond like.
Oh, this is that Reese Larson, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Here's why I can't get behind this guy. He's so possessive. So possessive. I'm just not a fan of that. This is also an excerpt. Bridget was mine and mine alone. It didn't matter that she wasn't mine to take. I was taking her anyway.
Okay.
It was just
Too much?
Yeah. It was like abuse. Low-key abuse.
Okay.
I mean, some people like that. I just think, cute. I'm against it. I'm for enemies to lovers, but when they're like all of a sudden that they're lovers, and like they're like soft and tender towards each other, addressing each other's wounds. I just think
Like a really tough guy that's only like soft and tender to her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
I get
he
that.
just was not soft and tender.
I get that. Some people like that, and that's cool. It's just not your thing.
It's not my thing.
That's
But
cool.
if you like that, good for you.
You might like the book.
You
If
might
that's
like
your
it.
thing.
And
That's
I couldn't finish. Anyways.
Mine is for the Song of Achilles. And as we know, it wasn't really my favorite book, but it's very popular with a lot of people, and I can see why, I guess. This review said, "Hello, darkness, my old friend. Sometimes after I read a book, I wonder why the book was written. This one I know. This book was written to lure in depressed readers seeking a wholesome love story, then catch them in a moment of vulnerability and slaughter them. It was bait. We fell into the trap. Now I am dead." And the only reason
Wow.
I mention it is because I just didn't have the same visceral reaction. I cried at the end, and it was beautiful, but I just can't relate. So some of you, if you've only ever had an introduction to the Song of Achilles on this podcast, there's a raving review for you to try it if that's your vibe. It just was not mine.
Yeah.
I also tried to listen to Madeline Miller's Circe, and I zoned out through literally 30% of the book, and I had to stop. So Greek mythology just isn't my thing.
Well, it's crazy. We've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but like something that resonates with you isn't going to resonate with someone else and vice versa. And so it makes me happy to hear that, like, even though you did not love that book, didn't really like it all that much, that someone absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
But I honestly think I am in the minority for not liking that book. I really do. So
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that I
There's-
see that
Mhm.
really like it. And it's really cool when people have those different reactions.
like, I wish I had that reaction, but I didn't. And that's
Because
okay.
it's also nice for the author to at least see someone likes your book.
Mhm.
I think it's also cool when people have so many hatred emotions because the author was able to bring out that too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a weird thing to think about.
Well, I think like good art is polarizing. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah. But it's still art.
Mhm.
And there's still, like, it could be the ugliest art piece to you, but someone's about to drop mucho money for it and put it in
Mhm.
their house,
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
Wow, we're deep.
Okay, this is a Christmas thriller.
What?
Did you guys know they have those out there? Well, they do. And guess who wrote it? Frida McFadden.
Of course you did.
It is literally, I'm pretty sure this book, it's like a short story. It's like 60 pages. So I was like, oh, it's short. It was Christmas time. I'll give it a go. It was the dumbest thing I've ever read. But it has a lot of really good reviews. People thought it was one of the biggest twists they've ever read. They thought it was so entertaining, and it was just insanely predictable and nothing. Like, I finished it and I was like, oh, okay, that was a waste of my time. But
is it about Santa?
it's not about Santa.
Dang.
It's just about like a gift that someone gives their spouse for Christmas, basically. And I feel like it's one of those. I know we've heard some mixed things about Frida, where I was like, I feel like I've heard a variation of this story before.
Is it the one where like the hairbrush and the watch?
I'm not gonna say anything.
So it's a
But-
twist on an old Christmas story then.
Yes and I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really know what to say about that.
Okay.
But someone said The Gift is what it's called by Frida McFadden gets right into it from the moment you start reading. Which, if it's gonna be a short story, you would hope they, hook you from the start. I was glad to be able to read it just a few days after Christmas. The style of this writing is absolutely excellent. She writes genuine page turners, which I can agree. This is now the second time I've been so impressed with Frida's writing skills once again. This was an addictive read from start to finish. There are a few jaw-dropping moments with an epilogue that totally blew me away. This is a must-read Christmas thriller. I would recommend to anyone to read. I don't know of any other Christmas thrillers. I don't know about you guys.
I'm sure there's some out there.
But anyways, they gave 5 stars. She's so talented. I plan to read every single thing she's written. I will remember. I love this book so much. I will remember it for many years to come since it's such a unique Christmas story. And I just was reading this and it just made me laugh because it was just really bizarre and not all that exciting or jaw-dropping to me. So, Christmas thriller, maybe for your winter TBR. It's about 50 to 60 pages. Give it a go. Tell me if you...
What's the title?
The Gift.
Oh.
I think it's... I mean, I finished it in under an hour. It took me less than an hour to read. So, like, it's really short. So, I guess maybe you could consider it a short story, not a book. But
A novella.
anyways, that was...
If you're really
Gift.
trying to achieve your Goodreads goal,
yeah, by
Read
the
The
end of the
Gift
year,
by Frida
especially,
McFadden.
Christmas time.
60 pages.
I would love to know if you thought
Oh.
that this was the most jaw-dropping story you've read.
I think I'm going to skip.
We're really selling you guys on these books.
53 pages.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. How did... I just don't think... yeah. Sometimes Frida, I've read 7, 8, 9 of her books. The more I read them, the more I'm like, this is crazy. This is not realistic.
I would love to be in her brain. Like, how do you keep just pumping all these crazy books out?
Yeah, I think I know. And then she's like, no, you don't. Psych.
Just kidding.
I can't even try to guess in her books.
No,
so.
I just don't even try. she just shows me. She shows me the way when I am doubtful.
Nice.
You think you know what's happening, then Frida humbles you. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm so sorry. Whoever liked this book, I'm so sorry. I did not. I hated it, actually. One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. Searle?
Yeah.
This person said, I cried a bunch. A really sweet mother-daughter story with some great escapism. Probably my favorite of Searle's After the Dinner List. Maybe I'll have to try After the Dinner List. Maybe I'll have to try After the Dinner List. I don't know. I thought it was cringe. And, I mean, Kennedy already has read this one. I mean, it was beautiful and I want to take a trip to Italy. ASAP.
The setting and the vibe was incredible. Like, the description of Italy made me want to go there.
And the food. Also, at the end, I was just so confused. Like, it doesn't explain anything.
Is this the one where her whole personality trait is that she loves her mom?
Yeah.
Okay. That's just what I feel like I remembered this book by. I haven't read it, but...
Well, and there's a certain trope in it that just, like, I absolutely hated.
Well, I just don't understand it.
I don't
understand. I don't understand how it worked. Maybe she was having severe visions. What is it called? Is that what it?
I don't know.
I don't know. The book is just confusing to me. So, anyways, read it.
Hey, listen, any of these books that we didn't like, obviously there's so many people out there that love them. There's still so many 5-star reviews. So even though we may not have liked it, go read the synopsis. And if it sounds like something you would love, have at it, because we've said this a million times. Different books, different times, different circumstances. People like them for different reasons.
Different strokes for different folks.
Different strokes for different folks.
I think we need to have that printed on a t-shirt.
Maybe we do. Merch idea. Merch. Okay. Mine is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan.
You were reading that one at the airport. The girl in the tiara. Okay, just making sure. I haven't read that one, but I'm just trying to keep up here.
She says, I really don't even want to talk about it right now. I can't see my screen through the tears in my eyes. I told myself I'd read half this book tonight and then finish it tomorrow. Well, here I am at almost 6 a.m. sobbing. But you know what? I did this to myself. I'm so sick. The ending was too much all at once. Who allowed that? And the only reason I'm mentioning this review is I feel like people forget.
It was told.
It was told at the very beginning what happens. So to me,
forgot.
Oh, you did forget?
I forgot.
How did you forget?
I'm gonna need you guys off camera to tell me the whole synopsis of this book because I have no.
Well,
desire.
I can tell you the beginning because it happens literally in the first chapter. Can I not?
Well,
Never mind. We're not going to say it. Read the book if you want. So, I mean, people obviously forget because Michaela forgot, but I did not forget. In the back of my mind, the entire time, I was like, okay, I know what's coming. I know what's coming. However, there was one thing at the end that kind of like shook me to my core. But other than that, I just didn't have the visceral reaction that I feel like a lot of people have when reading this book. And I remember reading it at a time when I really wanted to cry, and I didn't cry. And I was so mad. And let me tell you, I cry in every book I read. So that's the only reason I mentioned this review is I didn't cry, but I know a lot of people do. And we're getting a book in his perspective, I think, this year. Well, soon. So
I just don't think I'll read it.
It'll be like, it might be on my TBR, but it's like far, far off.
I'll do this one. I feel like we've talked about it on the podcast, but not everyone listened to this episode. So, this book is for Carrie Soto is back. This review.
Can I make a confession?
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I actually liked that book.
I like that for you. I really do. This is what's funny about this review to me, though. So if you didn't listen to our Malibu Rising episode, we talked a lot about Carrie Soto just because she is in Malibu Rising. But to me, there were times where I really enjoyed reading Carrie Soto, but like I just hated her character so much that it was really hard for me to like, I don't know. And I've never been an athlete, so it was hard for me to get into her brain and like understand her competitive side because I just have never experienced that anyways. This book or this review for Carrie Soto was just funny to me because, well, first of all, I loved that this person loved this book so much, so I love that for her. She just said, "I can't put into words how great this book is. I am speechless. Carrie's competitive, fierce, strong, brave, and the best tennis player, and she knows it." True. She says, "I loved Carrie. She's super stubborn, selfish, grumpy at times, but she's so brilliant, knows how to play, how to attack, to defend herself, and when to do it. After all, she is human." She kind of just goes on in this review to explain how much she just loved Carrie Soto. And I admired Carrie Soto's drive when I was reading this book. That's like the only thing I really admired about her. I'm not gonna lie. I will say there's like a father-daughter thing in this book that I really did love. I just felt Carrie, I don't know, I just couldn't with this book. It just felt, I know that people are gonna come at me and be like, there's so much more deeper meaning, but to me it just felt like it was just a book about tennis and a little bit about her dad, and that's about like all I really got from it. So
I mean, I would agree with that. It's about like tennis and her dad, but it was weird because I feel like one of the main reasons I really enjoyed the book was because of Carrie Soto. Like I just completely understood her and her personality, like to do whatever it takes to be the best. Maybe that's because I was a competitive athlete, but that was to me like the coolest part about the book.
I got you. I just felt like she was so mean.
Unlikable.
The whole book, she was just so mean, and I could not believe the things that she would say to the other players. And I was just like, I mean, maybe TJR just wanted to create a character who was just all competition and but there was just nothing about Carrie Soto that was likable to me, and it just made me really sad for the way like she treated a lot of the people in the book. You can be talented and competitive and you can be the best, but you can also be like a decent human being and be kind to other people. So that's why I had such a hard time with that book. And so it was just reading this and having someone just praise her character was just very interesting to me because she's probably one of the most like or least likable characters of a book I've ever read. So
True.
I would like to rival that.
okay,
It's a great segue.
all right.
The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, unlikable characters, eh?
Yeah. Let me read this. Well, as they said, it's not over until a mockingjay sings. Unpopular opinion, this book is better than the original trilogy. Yes, I said that. Don't cancel me. Disclaimer, I can see why people don't love this book. Where to start? Okay. I didn't like hate it. Okay. I still gave it 3 stars. I couldn't with, what is his name? Cornelius Snow.
With a name like that, you know he's gonna be.
I just couldn't empathize with him because I won't say a lot, but in this book he does go through a lot of hard things, but I was just like, I know how you end up. I know the kind of person you turned into. I couldn't feel any sort of emotion of like feeling compassion towards him. No, none. And the other girl,
Rachel Ziegler.
Ziegler?
That's the girl who plays her.
Yeah, I meant Ziegler. Oh, Ziegler. Sorry, it's just really funny. I don't remember the character's name. I also did not like her.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say no one even actually likes the actress herself right now, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I just the best part about this book was getting to see an inside of how the Hunger Games were developed and created, because this book takes place during the 10th Hunger Games, and the 3rd book of the Hunger Games is the 75th. So it's like a big gap. And so it's very interesting to see from like how things started to where they end up. I feel like I would have liked this book better if it came out before the first 3.
Yeah.
Because I just have a hard time knowing how people and characters end up being like.
Yeah.
Because we all know what President Snow
Yeah.
ends up being like. He is the worst. So I just had a hard time getting into it. But I could understand why people would like it, but I definitely don't think it's better than The Hunger Games.
Are you excited to see the movie?
I said this in my review. I think the movie will be better than the book. Because the girl, I don't know why I can't remember her name, they sing a lot. So I'm excited to see the music.
Well, and Rachel Ziegler is phenomenal.
She is a beautiful singer, and so I'm excited to see. I just think the movie will be better than the book. I don't know why, and I will probably never say that again about another book, but yeah, that's it. Unlikable character. Cornelius Snow.
Not surprising, but
That would be hard. Like, you have all these preconceived notions about him and what he turns out like. So it'd be hard to have compassion for him. For sure.
yeah, I remember when that book was announced, I was so excited because I loved the Hunger Games. But then when I read the synopsis of it, I had literally zero desire to read it. I was just like,
it's crazy. I mean, it's kind of fun being from the perspective of being in the Capitol, because when we read from Katniss's perspective, it's like the outside, so it's like crazy to see having kind of like that personal relationship with like the game makers and like, you know, people who are rich and think this is all just for entertainment. And so it was very interesting to see their perspectives compared to when we're reading from Katniss. We hate the people who are in the number 1, whatever it's called, District 1, and we're like, they're so spoiled. And I mean, they are, but it's just interesting to get like kind of both perspectives. Sorry, that was the longest rant.
I loved
love it.
Because the thing is most people listening know what the Hunger Games is. Like they know what it is.
Yeah.
They've seen it. They've read it.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I think a lot of people will relate the same way that you did. So
Yeah.
I think it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're bringing it full circle here for our last 5-star review of books we did not like. Mine is for Tender as the Flesh. This person's, I'm only reading one line. And to this person, you're not listening to this, but if you are, I want to know if you're okay. Ooh. Because it says, made me hungry. Mic drop. That's all. Thank you.
Whoa.
Are you kidding? I can't relate. I couldn't eat or drink anything while reading it or for like 2 hours after. So I just want to know if you're okay. So
Sending our love and prayers
yes,
your way.
we are.
Wow. Well, we really started on what a roller coaster this has been. Thanks for tuning in.
Also, just again, if you liked any of these books that we talked about, honestly, I'm jealous of you. I wish I would have had the same experiences of you. I wish I would love every book that I've read, but that's just not how it is. And if you're any of these people that wrote these reviews, we love you. We're jealous of you. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Like we said, everyone just has different reactions at different times in their lives.
Yeah, amen. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We put this was the most requested. We had like 4 different ideas for what episode we should record tonight. You guys picked this one. So we hope it satisfied your
Hunger?
Oh, no.
we hope you enjoyed it. And we love you lots. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.